one. All right, everybody, how you doing? My name is Eric Greenstein with SoFlo Real Estate Investors. Today we have one of my buddies here locally, Julian Sanchez. He's gonna join us today and talk about, basically how he got into real estate and taking the leap. Right, a lot of us are, we don't know when to take that leap, and there's always that fear. So he's going to go into it and tell us about his experience and how he did that. So I wanted to thank Julian for coming on today. So Julian, you got the stage, buddy.
Okay, where do I start with?
So just briefly introduce yourself and tell us about your background.
So good evening, everybody. My name is Julian from Boca Raton. Background is in, I studied mechanical engineering, UCF graduate. Did that, started working as an engineer 2013. Got into real estate 3 years ago. Started acquiring real estate 3 years ago. And then, happy to be here. I'm always happy to, share some knowledge, meet new people, and help any way I can, because others have done the same for me. So
beautiful. What type of real estate do you invest in, Julian?
So we specifically, our firm is called Elan Capital. Elan stands for enthusiasm, energy is, what I want to be recognized for. But we specifically commercial real estate, in the multifamily space. So buy apartment buildings, specifically in the Midwest. And we had an opportunity last year to acquire an assisted living facility here in South Florida, which is something a little different. First asset of its kind that we purchased. So far, so good. We have some partners there that are running the side of the business for us, because that's, again, not our forte. Well, not what we've been doing, but numbers look great. It was finally a deal in our backyard, and so far so good.
Great, man. Assisted living facility. That's actually pretty neat. I've never thought about that before. So
it's different and it's booming. I mean, I know a guy, his name is Vinny Chopra. He's a big multifamily syndicator, and now is basically just going all in on these. He's building ground up in Florida. Only in Florida, he's building 8 right now.
Wow.
From the ground up assisted living facility. So there's huge demand for it, and it is a whole different business. It's very different than normal real estate, right? You have the real estate component, and it's considered a commercial real estate asset, but you're also running a restaurant, hotel. You got to have, assistance for the people, etc. So there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, I'm sure. And that's also one thing that I love about real estate is that obviously it's a business, but so many different aspects of it, right? And just to kind of go into that, I'm actually looking at campground RV parks. So
there you go.
If you think about it, it's perfect because you're buying land, and you can get cash flow from that land. And there's many ways you can gain that cash flow, and it's very promising. So hopefully we land something this year. Is what we want to get to and start running it, and so what the KOAs are. Like the
KOAs, they're like they're a large company of these, right? Yeah, nationwide.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, they do it right? They have their processes, they have their standardization. You go into a KOA, you know what you're gonna get, right? Just like going into McDonald's, everything is standardized. So that's the name of the game right there. So
I've never been in one, but I can imagine. Do you know Heather by any chance? She lives in South Florida now.
Heather who?
Blankenship.
Is she in South Florida? I thought she was.
She's living. Yeah, well, she spends a lot of time at her properties, but she has a place down here as well. So yeah, that's her for example?
Yeah, no, I actually reached out to her. It's funny you mentioned her name because I reached out to her because she was on Steven Rosensberg's mastermind. So
There you
um
go.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna have a conversation with her very soon. But yeah, she does it very well. But yeah, man, let's dive deep into the three questions that I have for you, and then we'll go into Q&As, and then we'll see if anyone has any questions, etc. Um, so why did you take the leap into real estate?
In the beginning, I mean, it started really as, looking for financial independence, financial freedom, right? Everybody's heard the term, and I guess it's real popular
Sure.
now. That's really that was really it. And I guess the short of the answer, the longer was, I was working as an engineer, making, a decent salary. First time in my life, there's like a surplus of money. And I'm researching, okay, let's not, you know, I don't feel like splurging. There's nothing, let's not spend it on, what do we do with this money? Research online, do different things. All the roads keep pointing to real estate, to real estate, to real estate. And then specifically, I took the plunge, and again, from the very get-go, into multifamily. It was just, I like the model of business more than, let's say, going to residential, buying a house, or et cetera, et cetera. Um, I met my partner at a local meetup here in Delray Beach, and then yeah, we looking for property for many months. That was in February 2018. We finally came to a deal in December, closed on it in October, and commenced to work. And since then, we bought many more. Uh, but yeah, I went like that first deal, like talking about taking a leap. I just went all in. I think I was telling you last time,
Mhm.
a great deal. I needed some money, and I took have saved up until that time, and just kind of like how you go at the poker table, all in.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you gotta take risks, right? Especially in real estate, especially if you want to be an entrepreneur, which I feel like, if you get into real estate, that's definitely what you are. But yeah, I love it, man. I love that story, and I'm trying to hopefully do that very soon myself, my man. So, we'll
Absolutely.
see. We'll see. Um, well, that's great. And again, I respect that a lot. Again, that's why I'm trying. I'm in this as well. Right? I'm in real estate. My why is to build obviously generation wealth, and I want all my family to be very happy in life and very comfortable, more so, right? Um,
Correct.
so that's why I'm doing that, right? So the second question is, what is your best and worst deal?
Our best and worst deal. I mean, it was, the first one was both, right? It was
Yeah,
kind of the best and the worst. It was, the first one's always the hardest to get, the hardest to just, again, say, okay, I'm in this, I'm doing this. And for one is, it's something that many people don't recommend you do your first deal. We were out of state, heavy rehab, not in the best area,
hmm
like crossed all the T's.
hmm
And for our first deal. And so it was a whole year of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of mistakes we made, and a lot of, uh, just stuff we didn't know what we were doing. So it was a very stressful year, but at the end, yeah, it was also our best one because it ended up being a home run. We were financed 16 months later, pulled all our money out, had money in cash out, in refi proceeds, and we still own it to this day, and it cash flows wonderfully. So that's been our best deal, frankly, so far. Our worst one was the one that followed, and it wasn't bad. We didn't lose money. We bought it for 305, put 15% down. We had a loan for 265, then refinanced, at a 400K valuation, put a loan out for 320. We put most of our money out, and then we had a guy that bought up everything around us. So he purchased it for a little more than it was worth. We just seller financed it.
Yeah.
So we're holding a 10-year note for him. But what was bad, this was in a D class area. So don't buy in D class.
Yeah.
Don't buy don't buy in the ghetto. Don't, it's just, we had to sell. We couldn't maintain it. We couldn't get the place full. It was just constant turnover, constant headaches.
Mhm.
So, I mean, fortunately, we didn't lose our shirt, but it was a bad deal. It was stressful. Things didn't work. Again, a mistake there, just, not thinking like your tenant, right? We fixed up one unit. We're like, we're going to try it. Made it nicer, put nice flooring, fixed up the kitchen. We spent like an extra $1,000, a little over $1,000 to ask for $25 more a month, from 600 to 625, and no one would rent it for an extra $25 a month. But again, D class, you're thinking, you and me, most people here, an extra $25 a month for a nicer apartment, nicer floors, everything looking prettier, it's a no-brainer. It's $25. But when you're in these areas, this tenant class, it made all the difference in the world.
Wow.
So that was a mistake.
Yeah, I've heard some good and bad, especially about your oh, man, what is it called? I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar with it, but yeah, it's usually in the areas, low end areas.
Yeah, it's like Section 8 or
Yeah,
well, we had, and
heard.
funny enough, we had only a couple tenants at this one in particular. And then our Ohio properties, we have many Section A, but it's different, right? Those are more, our Ohio properties are more like a C class. So it's, just lower income, humble people, you'd say, but decent working class. This was, the local ghetto in
Mm,
Arkansas, in this specific town. So, that makes all the difference in the world.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I've heard that, some people would have to change like the carpets every year and like paint and but I guess it just comes with the game, It's
They
part of
don't pay. I mean, we had a murder, one of the units, shortly after, well, not shortly after, 6 months after buying.
oh,
Guy dispute a neighbor from just some others. Our tenant just shot and killed him in the parking lot.
wow.
Our tenant went to jail.
Wow.
Lady girlfriend with the newborn now saying she had to move, sorry, and just left everything behind. Hey,
Yeah.
yeah, but so you got those kind of things happen in those kind of areas. So for us, after that, it's like, you know, don't invest in these, no D class, no matter how good the deal is, just not worth the trouble, the headache, the brain damage. And we had property management. We had actually a good one, a decent property manager that knows the area, that, uh, lived there their whole lives. She's lived there her whole life, but it still, just constant turnover, constant evictions, people not paying, this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I hear you. It's something I probably would never get into. So
Yeah, don't. I mean, Section 8 is fine, and we have some, and there's, people nationwide that do very well with it. There's a difference, right? Um, so
question was asked, and you know what? We'll yeah, you
do you
can.
know it's a D class area? You want me to answer? I mean, how do you know? It's like, well, you drive through there at night and you don't feel safe, or there's shady things going on. It's what do we got down here? Liberty City, Little Haiti.
Yeah.
You
We have
know,
yeah, I mean even right here locally in Fort Lauderdale, there's
what do we got? What do we got in Fort? Yeah,
yeah,
Oakland
there's
Park area, some parts of Lauderhill.
you can
So
yeah,
there you
Lauderdale
go.
for sure. Um, what you can also do is copy the address, and I've done this before, like actually pretty recently, and they have, I think it's like neighborhood.com or neighbor or something, and they have,
There's different, yeah, there's different tools.
yeah,
One I like to use, I can't share my screen. It's called World Population. Well, here, let me pull it up, I guess,
well,
while we're at it.
let me get you a sharing capability. There you go.
Oh, okay. Oh, share screen. Oh, look at that, fancy. So this website, oh, bestplaces.net. That's what this one's called. And then, oh yeah, the latest one I was looking was this zip code in Jacksonville, and then shows violent crime rate in Florida and USA. Oh, it's not showing the specific zip code. Oh, didn't load up right for whatever reason. View more data. But anyways, yeah, this one is bestplaces.net. There you go. See, it comes in this one, crime rates, blah, blah, blah. Gives lots of information on the area. So yeah, there you go. Typically I go here. If I'm looking for crime, guess they don't have that much data for this one in particular. But yeah, this is a tool I use, and
Do you have the capability of sharing your screen?
oh, I thought I was. Are you guys able to see it? No.
No, you gotta press the little share screen button, and then it'll give you that screen. There you go.
Oh, I screwed up. There you go. So for example, out of my head, I chose a local one here near me. And here's some statistics. Again, it's not showing the one for the zip code, Florida, USA. So it gives a comparison. But yeah, bestplaces.net. It's being buggy right now. It's not working adequately. But another one, this is more for population density, world population review, and you just write, I looked this to see growth rates in cities and those kind of things. You want to be in places that have an increasing population instead of declining. So, but that's just another tool for something else. Those two are good for that.
Perfect. Yeah, those are definitely pretty good tools, and then for I forgot who asked that question. But yeah, so definitely those are the two tools you could use. You can just also, type in the address on Google, and you can type in, what kind of class or crime rate, and it'll populate a bunch of websites. And some of them will even have like, oh, class D, class C minus, class D plus, right? So I've seen that before.
Yeah, or you get on what is it, Google Maps, the street view, and you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell by the cars, by the places, people walking around, or just standing in the corner, up to no good, those kind of things. So, all right, not sure how to give you back the screen.
So you go on the bottom, and then you
Just take it away.
Yeah.
On the bottom. Nope, I screwed up. Can you just take that away from me?
Let's see. Oh yeah.
There you
go. Here we go. Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, so and then D class properties. If you probably need a bodyguard to feel safe in that area, then definitely consider RE investments. Yeah, that's pretty funny. All right, so this is something that I actually wanted everyone on the call, if you can, and of course, if you own or don't own, it's always good to have goals in mind, right? Whether if it's year-long goals, 6 months goals, or whether if you write your goals down every night. I can't really say here that I do that. I try to write my goals down every night, but that's one of my goals, is to literally sit there every night and write them down. So my question to you, Julian, is what is your 2022 goals?
In terms of the business and real estate, every year it's just been, we try to keep it simple, just because for the same reason, I've never been one to do the writing of the goals every year. But just a double every year, double. It's a doubles game. And there's a cool video out there with Patrick Bet-David. I don't know if you guys know who he is. Speaker, had a business, one of those financial influencers, etc. Money's a doubles game, and so just double the portfolio every year, And he says in the video, like it's money's a doubles game. Like $1 million is 9 doubles from a billion. So you go 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Keep going. Just 9 doubles and you're at a billion. If you double every year, that's it. In 10 years, you have a billion.
Yeah.
So we just every year try to double the portfolio. So we have 2 properties, 64 units, close in first quarter. I guess we just got to do that a couple more times, and the next following quarters, and we'd be good. That's our goals. And then, I mean, just personally, be best, best person I can be every day. Different version of myself, an improved version, a different person, smarter, healthier, stronger.
Mhm.
That's just what I've, what this journey has kind of embarked me upon.
Absolutely, man, and I could attest to that because it's really important to self like improve on yourself. That's what I've also been very adequate about is trying to improve every day. A little something little. I don't know about you guys, but I hate doing my laundry. Doing my laundry and actually folding it is something that I write my goals folding. But that's me. But yeah, I also I didn't have that as a question, but I do have a question, Julian. And like how would someone invest with you? Right? Do you is it like a syndication deal? Do you have to be a credit investor? Like how do you bring in funds?
We've done a little bit of both. Like the last one we syndicated brought in money from accredited investors. That one was a 506B, so it was accredited investors only. That one in particular, the ALF, the assisted living facility.
Mhm.
Previous deal in Ohio. It was funny, the deal came across buddy of ours, buddy of mine here in South Florida as well. Mitch Durfee. He happened to have sold a property in Denver, needed a 1031, had the money, needed a deal. We're like, hey, we got this deal in Ohio. We partner up. He put up the money, and uh, we did the deal. That was 20 units in Cleveland.
Oh,
So we closed on that last year. So these two coming up, one of them we're going to JV as well. There's a couple partners bringing in the money, and we have some of our own funds, but it's like you want to now start building relationships so you can bring in investors and start taking on bigger deals. So they're putting down the money, and that way we can save our funds because you always need money to do deals. I mean, and starting out, it doesn't have to be your own. You can partner with people. I mean, there's different ways to do this. There's many ways to do it, but yeah, you're getting into a bigger deal, especially something over $1 million. A seller's going to want, at least 25K in earnest money.
hmm.
The lender, right now we're using Lima One, for example. So you got to send them a wire for 10 grand to just get their fees started, to cover all their costs. That's just part of the business. Your attorney, the attorney we have now is great, Matt in Cleveland. He charges at the end upon closing, so it's something we could even put in the HUD,
Cool.
so it can just come off of as a closing cost.
Mhm.
So we got to pay him up front. But yeah, there is money involved in this business. So we try to keep. We're now wanting to partner up with more people to take on these deals, and we can continue to do on more.
Yeah, yeah, man. That is very interesting and like OPM basically, right?
It's exactly, and we started off. The first deal was all our own money, all our own cash, and again, like I got even into debt and went again all in that one, and there were very stressful times during it. And fortunately, it was a success, and then which that paid us all back, and I had a huge breather when that occurred. It was a very happy day,
Yeah.
but and then the next one we also used our money. By the third one, yeah, there was you just talk and meet people, and there's money out there. There's
So
so they wanted to be a part of it. We did a small syndication. that was for that one, and then the next one was with Mitch, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, man. And I I heard you a couple of times say relationships, right?
Mhm.
For those of you who are just starting off or are in real estate, that's a huge part of what we do here, right? I'm a big believer in that, obviously, because when I started SoFlo, I wanted to meet other people in the industry, but I didn't know that it would actually take me to an area where I could literally go ahead and present a deal, and there'll be people behind that. It's just again, it's just about building those relationships, figuring out what everyone's good at, right? Building a team. I'm very adamant about building a very solid team. One person does, let's say one person underwrites, one person finds deals, right, et cetera, et cetera. So, I'm sure you have all that set up, right?
Yeah, and this is a big people business, not just, like I have me and my partner. Now we set up operations. We started a property management company last year, our own internally, and we hired
Oh,
a
nice.
team and trained them. And we just that was a big part of last year, just because that's how you grow, right? We
Sure.
were spending so much time on the day-to-day nonsense, and which we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of what we did last year. Hired the people, trained them on what to do. Now we, frankly, there's apartments I don't even know, you know, if we have how many tenants or not, or at certain buildings, is just taken care of.
Yeah.
So whereas before, yeah, every little thing we were dealing with ourselves. So yeah, and then I mean that's your main team, and then yeah, you can partner with many other people that'll bring different things depending on what we need. I put the example of Mitch. He had the money, and actually he needed to do a 1031. Otherwise, he was going to have to pay a big tax bill to the government.
Sure.
So he needed to put that money somewhere. We had the deal, boom, and it happened very nicely. And furthermore, he's got, he trusts us. We've been running everything in the background. He just, we just
Perfect.
tell him how things are going. He barely even asks, frankly.
Perfect.
Um, but yeah, so you just figure out what you know, every person here wanted to get started. If you want to find a partner, or if you don't know where to get started, is what can you bring to the table? If you have the time, if you know where to find deals, if you or have some cash sitting, and then just always being plugged into these, this meetup, or this virtual meetup. I know there's also the in-person one, um, and there's many others in South Florida.
Mhm.
There's events nationwide, and just being there or being present, uh, arriving, showing up. There's people that'll need what you have, or
Sure.
just talking to the right person. Who knows?
Yeah.
Things happen.
a- a-
So
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And yeah, that's exactly what I suggest as well, as getting yourself out there, you know asking questions. There's also Facebook groups that you can join as well.
yeah, I'm part of all of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, there's really great information on there. So
There's
you're more than,
many.
yeah, there's a lot of information that you can find out.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I guess we're definitely done with the questions. I would like to open it up the Q&As, and I know that there's a couple of questions that we haven't answered yet. So um, let's see here. Uh, Ada, is that correct? Is that how you pronounce her name?
Yeah, she hates laundry.
Oh, Shades Laundry too.
Yeah, I had to write that. I always say that. Yes, Ada.
So if you want, yeah, unmute yourself. Go ahead and definitely ask your question.
Now I was just making a comment about that I'm saying that's a huge incentive to be successful and make so much money that I don't care if they think women's supposed to do all that. I like it. Folding all those things.
I mean,
I think my abilities can be put to better use.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know, so I will definitely be delegating all the drudgery when, the first opportunity.
Yeah,
Delegate, delegate.
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I even went as far as trying to invent like a washer on top, dryer on the bottom, like a folding mechanism that just goes right into your like your drawer, without
Oh,
even
dude, you just need to create the machine then. You
no,
just come up with that, patent it, and fuck, you
no,
have more money than everyone here in the. I mean, shit, you come up with something like that.
yeah. No, I know.
Yeah,
It's
maybe that could be an opportunity though for another business, like
Yeah,
to get a
absolutely.
specialty crew, to just for people who are like, their abilities can be put to better use, and and you could be niche specific, to this is the real estate, this is what these people need, that's also another opportunity.
sure,
There's so many ways.
absolutely.
But yeah, I found out last night while we're in Cleveland talking with this big hitter, and I could talk about him more in a bit. But Warren Buffett doesn't have an email. You guys know that Warren Buffett doesn't.
Really?
Yeah, you can't email Warren Buffett. He doesn't have one. And I'm like,
Isn't
I would
any email?
love. He doesn't have an email.
Huh.
Runs Berkshire Hathaway. He's got people doing that. And so, well, the guy I was talking with, Kenny Wolf, he's a big guy in Texas, like owns thousands of units, triple net leases, got many funds. He's about to basically create a REIT with them. Real nice guy too. Very down to earth, multimillionaire though, but and long story short is like he started doing well, he still has his email, but basically now his team takes care of his email. And then he'll be looking, instead of 300 out of the 300 emails he gets a day, they'll clear that out and filter it down to 2 or 3 that he needs to look at. And that's it. And I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
That makes total sense. Yeah, because I remember reading something about him that he just like a quote. He said that he would spend his days just like lying flat on his back and just looking up at the Sistine Chapel or something. And it's like, and that's really smart when you get to a point where you just have people that can do the things they know. You get someone who knows exactly how you think, who knows, that you feel comfortable with, and you delegate and they do it for you, people who you can trust. I was in another session earlier today to someone who is a grant writer specialist. She's been doing it for over 18 years. And she actually she worked for the Christopher Reeves Foundation before he passed. And she was actually his main writer, who was his voice for his foundations. And he trusted her, he got to know her and trusted her. So she actually responded for all his letters or any of his correspondence. She was the one. So yeah, very interesting.
Ultimately, and in real estate and business, it's just, focus on the tasks that generate, the revenue generating tasks. So you're answering bullshit emails doesn't move the needle, doesn't increase your, is not going to get you more properties. And that's what, it came down to. And for him, it's like he's focused on finding deals, finding money. Everything else he hires out. We were touring one of his properties. It was the craziest thing because, again, this is a big, a big player. He purchased the Rockefeller building. It's a 12-story building in downtown Cleveland. He's transforming the whole thing into 430 some apartments. Long story short, he's doing a tour. We're in Cleveland. I'm like, can we join you? I mean, fucking tour this building, just badass. And it was. And I'm asking him questions, with the mechanical, electrical, plumbing. I mean, they're having to redo everything. It was office space. They're converting it to apartments. He had no idea. I'm like, what are you guys doing about this, and that? He's like, Agustino, what are we, and for a moment, I'm like, how do you not know this? But then you think about it, no, he's the business owner. He doesn't get involved in those details. It's an $88 million renovation. He's not, worried about how some cable is going to be run or how the new duct work or, well, the stuff I was asking him, So anyways.
I just wanted to add one last thing to that. I'm sure most of us here know the story, even though I may not remember the particulars. That ties into that famous part of Think and Grow Rich, right? When who was that was that Ford? when he was, there, and they, told him that, well, he doesn't know all this, and then he said, what is really education? And well, he has all these other men who are specialists, who have PhDs and all that, who can answer all those questions for him. So why does he need to bother himself to know to know all that?
Yes, he was in court.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
So in terms of my questions, I just put two things in earlier, and it was just, I would be interested in just to know more about the opportunities in the assisted living real estate. And do the people usually hold that and run it for a while and try to make it more profitable before they sell it? How does that usually work, please?
It can work similar. I mean, like for this one in particular, we're really operating under the same principle we've done multifamily, whereas we're taking a distressed asset. And in this particular case, distressed in terms of it had very high vacancy. Really, we're fixing management. The real estate itself, we did a full inspection, etc. Our roof was, one of the flat roofs was done prior to closing, and the real estate itself doesn't need pretty much anything. It was the business side of it, so the management side of it. So really, we're just gonna increase what will put the facility to capacity. That increases the revenue, the net operating income, remove expenses everywhere we can, and thus that's how you increase the valuation, refinance in 2 years. So give our investors their money back, continue to cash flow. If we wanted to sell it, we sell it at that new value once all that's done. But that is the play. And in terms of there's, for example, in our case, we own the real estate, we own the business. Some people might just own the real estate and rent out to an operator of the facility. We, in our case, own both, and we are running it in terms of a business similar to how we do the multifamily. Increase the valuation of the property. Assisted living facilities work at a higher cap rate than multifamily, so we've taken that into consideration. I mean, we took that all into consideration in our underwriting, but again, conservative cap rates, conservative numbers, how we can increase that, and having it all worked out. We just, the right partners happen to be in place to do it, because there's two ladies, they run the place, they know the business, they've been in that business for their whole lives. We don't know it. We wouldn't have done it without them. We wouldn't have done this deal without them. So that's our plan with that one. And the same owners of this one, they have another couple in Central Florida that they would want to sell us as well. So we just closed this one in October. We're just waiting to see getting fully acquainted with how everything works, and then we'll see about purchasing the other ones.
Thank you.
I think he has a question.
Yes, hi. So my name is Ilan. I've been part of the SoFlo last for a month now or more, a little bit more. I went to meet the guys in Fort Lauderdale. Very nice experience. Thank you for that. So my question is there any, I mean, I guess you feel more pressure to get a second deal after you refinance, because you're basically, by refinancing, and I know that I asked this in the chat, but basically by refinancing, you're increasing the amount of debt that you're paying monthly. So basically, you need, there should be a pressure to get a second deal working in order to pay for that excess of debt that you're getting once you refinance, right?
No. Because when you refinance a property, and the bank wouldn't give you such a loan where you cannot service the debt with that same property. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, no. Once you stabilize the property, and the new valuation you get is based on the money it's making, and the bank looks at all that, and that's how the appraiser comes up with the new value. The bank sees how much money it generates in income, So yeah, they would only give you, and again, that's why the banks only loan at 80%. Same thing with a refinance,
Yeah.
75, 80%. So you still have 20%, 25% equity that's yours in there.
Yes.
Excuse me. And yeah, what they look for, they'll do this, called a DSCR, debt service coverage ratio. It's a ratio.
Uh-huh.
So they look for, it depends on the bank, but some will go 1.2, someone as high as 1.3, where it's a minimum, where you have to cover, where your debt service, that's the ratio. The amount of net operating income is that many times the debt service. So basically that you can cover debt, have a surplus, and I mean, have no problem servicing that debt, the current condition of the property. I don't know if I'm explaining myself correctly.
Yeah, and that works with either like commercial or just like a property you bought for yourself, and then after a year you decided that you were going to move.
Yeah, anyway, if it's your own residence, I mean, similar story. Well, if it's your own residence, now they're looking at you, how much money you make, and that's why,
Exactly. Yeah.
similarly, if you imagine, okay, yeah, as a person, how much money you make, that's how much money they'll lend you for that type of, let's say, oh no, you can only buy a house up till 500K, or, that's
Yeah.
an example. So similarly, in commercial real estate or an investment property, they look at how much money the property makes.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
It's
So
commercial. Yeah, that in that case it's commercial. They look at the business side of the property.
yeah,
But
how much money is generating.
yeah, but then when it's personal, then it's yeah, I don't know. I mean,
They look at you as a person, how much money you make,
yeah,
and then typically you got to make, it's similar to what we ask our tenants. I think the banks are asking for 3 times your mortgage. You got to make 3 times your mortgage payment,
oh,
your
okay.
salary. That's for your primary residence.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
And the other question I had is, well, I come from a country where, there's a lot of, yeah, it's difficult to trust people, right? So, how can you trust, or how can you trust someone that, I know these groups are for this, it's like to get like with people that you consider they're like-minded people, and then how can you trust someone, that you don't know basically.
You don't, and no, that's a valid question, and it's like somewhat difficult to answer. I will say this, like, I got very lucky with my partner, great guy, and our, our partnership works greatly, and it's funny, a partnership is like another marriage. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So I guess I'd say, yeah, I got very lucky, and our interests align. And also, he takes care of all the financial stuff. His background is in finance. He used to work for Wall Street. He used to work for Lehman. He was right there during the crash. He's got some great stories if you guys ever meet him. But so he takes care of that part. I take care of lawyers, attorneys,
Operational,
lenders,
yeah.
the rest. Yeah, I just make shit happen.
Okay.
So it works out very well. But yeah, like, there's Eric, Annette, right?
Yeah.
You know Annette. So Annette has some stories where she hasn't been so lucky, and she had a partner, for example, in Dayton, Ohio, property she bought up there. And yeah, long story short, the partner's just been, taking money, and because she's up there, and Ed's down here, the property's in Dayton, and
Yeah, exactly.
just telling her bullshit. And
Exactly. That's because if he's was in South Florida, maybe you can anyways. But if you're
so
investing,
I will say this though, or real estate in general is very big, and there's some nowadays, well, there's always been, I guess, many asset classes, but more pop up. I never knew about RV parks. There's trailer homes. You can do Airbnbs. You can wholesale flip. There's multifamily. There's
yeah,
commercial, industrial. There's marinas, which
Yeah.
I think is pretty cool to own a marina. But
Yeah.
anyways, I'm focused in multifamily. So I'll say in multifamily, people know each other. It's sort of a niche space. So if someone screws everybody finds out. So
okay.
let's say, for example, Annette's
Reputation.
partner, if she ever wanted to do something else, people aren't going to be doing business with her.
Yeah.
I will say that, but that's
Reputation.
always a risk. I mean, know the person, look them up, you can do a check on them, kind of a background one, just like anybody would on a tenant or anything else. But yeah, I mean, again, for example, Mitch just gave us 200K to close that deal, and he's funny. I think he's asked 3 times how we doing, and I'm like, good, man, and he's like, okay. He don't, I guess he just trusts us that
Yeah,
much.
exactly. We trust you.
But bless you, yeah, you just gotta play it by ear, know people, talk to them,
Yeah,
etc. So
I like that. I like it.
Yeah, no,
Thank you, man. Thank you.
and I totally agree. It's a small industry. Definitely real estate investing in general. It's a very small industry. So if you fuck someone, they're gonna know. Everyone's gonna know.
I know, and
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And to kind of go on your point, Elon, is that yeah, like just what you're doing now, right? Like you're associating with with a group, right? You get to meet everyone and you just build that relationship, like the partners that I have right now, I've known them all for over a year, which is like, okay, like can you trust? I absolutely, like I trust all of them. And we talk every day and it's just I don't think anything of it. So, and if it happens, right? I mean, it is what it is. Business is business. I've heard my family as well. A couple people got screwed, not in real estate, just in general, right? It happens. So
it happens.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I don't know. I was looking at them.
Yeah, I have a question, please. This is Ada. So my question is, I just wanted to be clear. Are you investing in multifamilies or investing in apartments? I thought I heard at one point you might have said apartments, or is that the same thing?
It's
And
kind of
then
the same thing, yeah.
And the second part to that question is, what strategies is used for those? Like, is it like the specific type of financing, or also would you use like some of the creative financing? I've heard of subject to and stuff. So those are my part 1 and 2 of that question. Thank you.
So yeah, I guess commercial multifamily, I mean, yeah, you can say apartment buildings, because there are some people refer to multifamily like a duplex, triplex, but commercial is 5 units and up. So that's, we're just sticking like to 20 units and up, or we're trying to do bigger deals. So yeah, that's what we focus on. And to your question in terms of financing, yeah, we try every way possible. I mean, if a seller we always put it on the table. If the seller wants to hold a note, if it happens to be a seller that owns the place free and clear, hell, you be the bank. It's better, easier. And some seller might be inclined, but you got to have the conversation, explain to them. There is subject to, there's the guy I was talking about just now that we were in Cleveland. He was telling us about a deal. Badass. That one's real. Let me see. They did in Cleveland, him and his partner. Some guys that own a property next to them. Basically, they were, taking their lunch money, taking their tenants, etc. They came to them, hey, how are you guys doing this? They were going to sell the property to them at a price. I think it was 5.5 million. Great deal. What they did was a master lease agreement and a purchase contract. So basically, they don't own the property, but they're going to be running it, stabilizing, fixing it. They put $1 million into renovations, fix it up, fill it with tenants, bring the rents up. Boom. What does that cost? Now the property is worth a lot more. So now they're going to refinance it at that value. I think he was saying 11 million. Let's say it was 10. They'll cash out. They'll give him 80%, 8 million. They'll pay the guys they went under contract for 5.5, buy them out with, only having put in the money for the rehab. So there's so many ways to, there's many different ways of doing it. That one I thought was pretty cool.
That's
for example.
cool. And
Yes.
approximately like what range would the rehab cost would have been?
I don't know. He told me those were 100+ units. But yeah, they said they were all in for about $1 million because it was a big apartment complex.
And that would have taken about approximately how long?
Probably a year, more than a year at least. Yeah,
Okay, so they would have probably made at least over 2 million on that
correct.
after everything. Okay. pretty
After
good.
everything. So there's, yeah, and we buy distressed properties. So you get, our first deal, we're starting off, you had to get hard money. No one else would lend us. So it comes at a higher percentage, at a higher cost, but we were able to get the deal done with it because we had $250,000 in rehab to do. But then, yeah, we refinanced, paid that loan out and continued to own the property. Nowadays, there's bridge lenders that'll give us great terms, non-recourse. Our latest ones are non-recourse, to my surprise, which is the non-recourse debt is basically if you screw up, if you can't pay, whatever, they don't come after you personally. They can only seize back the asset or etc. They can't come after your assets, your house, your money, etc. Up until that point, until recently, all our debt had been recourse. So yeah, if we default on the loan, if we screw up, they're, the lender's coming for everything they can get. But yeah, there's bridge loans, and as the name, it's meant to, you have a distress asset, whether it's, and sometimes it doesn't even need to be that it needs rehab. It could just be, it's 70% occupied, 80% occupied. And you just got to take it and see what the administrative managerial problems are, fix it, fill it up, and now you can put it into some agency Fannie Freddie debt, very low interest, 30-year amortization. That's it. So a bridge loan is meant to be either, they typically go 18 months, 24 months, max typically up to 36. And it's meant for you, yes, to take a distressed asset and stabilize it.
And what is
so-
required for that? Just like having good credit, you have good backers, you have to have the credit yourself, or as long as
They
you're
look at all
invested?
that, but mainly they're looking at the business plan, the asset. So that is the difference, another difference with commercial real estate and why I never got into residential. They're looking more at the deal and they're looking at, can you perform what you say you can perform? So with these, for example, these 42 we're doing, we got to fix a roof, we got to redo, yeah, it's only like 4 units. It's not even that, increase rents and do some cosmetic repairs. So we got to give them a detailed list of expenditures and how we're going to, because they're giving us money for rehab as well. So we're going to show them, okay, this is how we're going to spend it. This is going to cause, after that, we think we can raise rents to this, fill the vacancies that exist. And the property will be worth this much. They're like, okay, they know we can pay them back. They feel, and then they're looking also, do you have a track record? Have, how many other properties you own? Have you done this before? That kind of thing. Now they're looking more experience, not so much, yeah, how's your personal financials?
Okay, and from what I'm hearing, as someone new, when I'm starting, what I'm hearing actually, if I'm correct, is that it's worth it to go for something, okay. The main thing is if you can find that good deal, and then if you can then put together the package, whether it's your backers, investors, or other experienced people with you, like myself, I'm new. If I found something, but I get experienced people and the backers and everything is put together, and then I have that good solid plan, that's the main thing to then present to people.
Yes.
It's better than me trying to take, a year or whatever and fix my personal credit.
To each their own, but
and to get something residential, rather, is what I'm trying to say.
Right, but you can totally do the first option. Yeah, let's say you found a great deal, but I don't know, it's a lot more than your net worth or what you can put down as money. And yeah, if it needs heavy rehab and you don't have the experience, well, find people that do and want to be partners with you. And then, yeah, you can go as a team to a lender and be able to speak to, hey, yeah, this is what we're going to do. And this is how we've done in the past. And here's how, we can show that we know what we're doing.
Hey, Julian, how can we reach you, or is there any, are you going to
Yeah, you can look me up on Facebook under my name. My my Instagram is jsanchez.elon capital.
Yes, the
You
Elon
put it in
Capital.
the chat. Here, let me put it in the chat for you. I got you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Rich Dad Poor Dad will get your mindset right.
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad's definitely one of my favorite books.
Yeah, that's the catalyst, I'd say, for
Yeah,
and
all
then
of
thanks
this.
for the book recommendations.
this is pretty
Okey-doke.
good too. This is Brandon Turner's book. Always a good read. Always-
Brandon Turner's a great guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds good.
Let's see here.
Is everyone going for the float on the boat?
Dude, I mean, let's all go. Let's all
I'll be
do it.
there. Be good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Julian,
look, he's got the burr.
oh, you got the burr. Nice.
Got it. Thank you very much.
You got the burr. I'm trying to type in your give me a second. Actually, could you just type it in?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Anyways, so you know we're a little bit past time. We could obviously continue going, etc. If you would like. I don't know if you know Julian has more time, but I actually see that Ada did ask about the RV opportunities. Right now we're actually looking. It's funny you say Florida, Texas are the only places right now that we're looking. Because you know, if you think about it, RVs, campgrounds, right? Florida is very popular with that because there's a lot of like parks and national parks and state parks, along with Texas as well. Um, right now we're on the startup phase, right? So we're building teams. And right now, I have a pretty solid team, and it's called in the middle of Florida. Well, it's kind of the middle, but I would say it's in the middle. But you guys know where Lake Okeechobee is, that big ass lake. Yeah. So all around that area, just a bunch of you know land, masses of land, and I ended up driving over there a couple of times, and you know, ended up calling a couple of signs and doing a little driving for dollars, but for land, up there. And I ran into someone who's lived there for over 60 years. And he's also like yeah, I mean, he's been there forever, right? So you need someone that has experience in that area. And I'm definitely gonna have him, even though he's a real estate agent. I'm gonna have him as a partner as well, because then he can help us, you know, manage it and all the above. But to answer your question, like right now we're in the startup phase, so we don't have anything set in stone. We're just building a couple of teams in those certain areas. So I'll definitely keep you updated with that though.
Great, thank you. From the little bit, when it's just a little bit that I've so far heard about RVs recently,
Yeah.
it sounds just along what you were saying, how you met someone who really knows about the area. It sounds like you kind of have to kind of be on the beat. That's not as much of a market that you want to do from like a distance as some of the other real estate markets.
100%. And that's what I bring. And this is kind of something to go along with your question as well. What value do you bring to the team, right? And my value is I'm going to be 100% involved in this, right? I'm going to be living on there, you know, making sure everything is running smoothly for the first couple of months. I'm going to be um, documenting all the processes, right? Making it like the next KOA, like I was saying. And so we can do it again and again and again. And that's the mindset you're supposed to have, right? You're supposed to have that mindset of how can I build this into a business where you can repeat it over and over again, right? And that's what I'm trying to do. So that's yeah, that I mean, you're right. You know, it's all about I'm going to have to focus on that 100%. until I feel that I can hand it off to those, campground individuals who we hire, right? Because we're obviously going to have to hire a couple of full-time campground, I guess you can call them like rangers or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, we'll see though. It's exciting. It's something that I believe in because the whole remote, right? Remote jobs is really popular now, and I don't think it's going to go away, right? I think people are going to, people are a little younger. They're gonna want to take adventures, and they want to go and experience life, right? So the only way to really do that is, like buy a camper that's cheaper in a house and start going from campgrounds to campgrounds and working as well. So that's my 2 takes on that. So,
Yeah, good
but-
luck.
I'm sorry, what?
No, I said good luck, in
thank
the
you.
market. Just wishing
Thank
the
you.
best.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was very, I enjoyed this. Yes, thank you.
Good. I'm glad you did. And this is what we do. This is what I try to do. I try to have, a good, nice, quality, obviously, speaker and whoever comes on. And, this is what I love to do. I love to connect people and I love to talk about real estate. So, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very
So,
much. I have to
Yeah,
go.
absolutely. If you guys have any questions for Julian, that is his Instagram handle. Like he said, he's available on there. So reach out to him, ask him any questions. And, guys, again, I appreciate. And Julian, man, I appreciate everything, man.
Thank you so
Really
much.
appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Happy to help.
Really looking forward to to continue our relationship down here, man. Keep we'll keep having the events. I'm sure I'll see your face very soon, and let's grab a cup of coffee sometime soon. All right.
Cool, man.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you
Julian.
again.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank
Have a
you.
great evening.
See you guys. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye.
You're welcome.